So hello there. I'm used to say that. So I'm going to show you quickly how you can make these word tiles. Right, I'm going to show you quickly how you can make these word tiles, and it is really easy. And it's also useful if you're working in your journal but you want to add. You don't want to add your writing, you can use these. So what these are essentially are these adhesive letters. So all you need to do is, so I've got this one, write out some words. So spell out some words that you would necessarily want to use in your journal, or on your journal, or on whatever it is that you're creating. So I've got these. It came as you can see, a variety of different coloured letters, and I've used all of them to write out these words. So that's the first bit that you do, and I'll show you some more. I'll show you all of them actually. So I've got all the words that I want, and where I don't actually have that letter, I've improvised, and in some of them used other things that could go and look like that letter, because obviously these packs, they have a limited amount of letters, and you could use up all the vowels, yeah. So I've got these letters and I've spelt out the words that I want, and where I don't actually have that particular letter, I've improvised. So I ran out of E's, and so this was an M, a lowercase m. Where else? The R was a J, and I've used that. And so I've just gone through and there's an I missing there. So I need to get that I. So I've gone through and spelt out all the words that I want, and as I say, where I don't have, I've improvised. And this was what was left. Oh no, this was actually some words that's got messed up, and this one, all the words are there, so that's fine. Okay, so let's have a look at this and see where we can get all of the words back. So, let me see. Okay, so let's come in. These are all the words that I've got for this particular one. I've got a couple of letters over. I need an O and an I, so I might actually be able to create it out of this. This is a D. We've got an S, so I'll just put the S there. So we've got lights. Okay, so I'll show you how I would alter. So what I want is an I and an O for imagination. So all I'm going to do is cut off the end of this. It's P. So I've got the I, and then I can curve this to create an O. So cut off and just make it curved as well as I can. There, so we have our letters, imagination. Okay, so now let's show you the next stage. Alright, so I'll show you the next stage with this one. So what you need is tissue paper, because what I found is, like in the last one, the words are not going to be sticky. The letters are not going to be sticky. So I'm going to have to do something about that. So you get some tissue paper. It doesn't matter what kind, as long as it is thin. Doesn't matter whether it's coloured or not, because you're going to be painting it anyway. So you're going to get some tissue paper and you're going to cover this all in the tissue. So I normally you can either just cover it like that, or you can tear it into strips. So what you need to do is get a brush. It's usually better with one of these, like a flat top brush, or just a brush that, you know, because you're going to be dabbing. It's got a lot of glitter in it. Okay. And you're going to get some PVA glue. And it's probably an idea if you do it in strips. Because, oops, you want to get into all of the spaces so that you can actually see the letters clearly. Okay. So I've got strips there, so I'm just going to get my glue and I'm just going to dab it over the words. I don't want to rub it because I can rub it where there's no letters. I don't want to move the letters around. I just want to make sure that there's glue there. And then all you're going to do is put your tissue paper over the top, and then you're going to dab it down. And what you want, the reason why you do it in strips, is that what you want is for the paper to go in between the letters and define the letters, make the letters defined. So it then doesn't matter if you've patched a letter together to create another one. So where I've patched this N here, you can't tell now because it's covered. And I'm just going to go down the page and make sure it's all covered. So these letters were still had quite a lot of their stickiness, so I can risk it and be a bit lighter with the glue and just, you know, lightly tap it. But when it comes to placing the paper over top, you want to dab it quite hard. Also be careful slightly because the tissue paper will rip, or can rip. So make sure you tap around the letters first, and you know, you get a good coverage. Yeah, because where it then is bubbly, you might not be able to define that letter very clearly. So you just take your time and go through. Okay, so finished covering it. You may want to, you know, like fill up the spaces so that you've got, maybe if there are, like say some of these, I can cut these up and put it here so that I can, I mean, you don't have to really. So I'm just gonna stick these here and then cover it with the glue. Yes, you can use up every available space rather than and have just a sheet with all the words. I might do the same down here. Okay, so every available space has been used up. We've got our words there. Let this dry totally. You might have to leave it overnight and then come back to it. So I'm going to show you one. Here's one I prepared earlier. So what I've done with this one is, this was probably all of the words that I had left. And then we've got the other bits that come with, you know, the letters. So what you're going to do now is choose a colour. You can choose a dark colour. I usually go for like a blue or a bronzy colour, so browns and things like that. So just gather your colours. I've got some red and some other colour in here. But that's copper. It's bronze. So I'm just going to go for some brown. Oops. That says it's, oh, I picked up the wrong one. I was looking at the colour, but it says it's crimson. It doesn't matter, if you mix a whole load of colours together, you'll get brown. So I've got a brown here, so I'm just mixing all of these together. And then you take your brush, you can go over it several times, and you just go over I mean, this was black, so I could have technically just added a metallic rub on, but the more layers you give it, the stronger and more kind of, it becomes a bit more like a little mini plaque. I'm just going to put so just quickly rubbing all over. And you can especially do this if you're trying to use up paint, so it's a great way to, you know, or just use the excess paint in your journal, on a journal page. So that's one layer of paint. I'll probably do another layer because I do want it to be darker. Just happen to pick up colours that, but that's fine. And dab it just to make sure you get in all those spaces. So that's the colour I want mine to be. So I am going to allow this to dry. Again, you probably need, you know, if you've got a hand dryer, you might want to do that, or just allow it to air dry and go on and do something else and come back so that you know it's totally dry. Okay, so now it's dry, I'm going to get my metallic rub-ons, and I normally start with the bronze first, and I'm just going to lightly go over it, go over the letters, apply some of the rub-on onto my finger, and then go over the letters like so. And the combination of colours that we've got can look really nice. This works especially well with, let's come in a bit, especially well with the brown and using like gold and bronze as well. So you just go over all the letters and the surrounding paper. I'm going to do these as well. You can also use a brush as well. So I do a coat of the bronze and then I go in with the gold, and it just gives you a contrast. It doesn't have to be all over, but just around it there. And then on the bit of paper I've just got there that's coloured. Okay, so you're ready to cut this up. Now you can cut yours up and have them square, or I like to do them kind of oval in shape. For these ones I'm just going to cut this off for the moment. So I'll decide how I want to cut this up. Okay, so I just cut them into the individual words. Like so, and then I just round them off. I round mine off. I like the round think it looks nice. So if you've got a punch, you might want to, you know, a punch that rounds off the edges, or you can get the decorative scissors. Let's see how this goes. I think this may still be slightly wet, so wait in the day after when you know it's going to be definitely dry. Might be the thing. So you can cut them off. If you've got any bits that, like, you know, like I've got, I'm just going to touch it up there. But for me, what I'm going to do is just cut them round. Right. And so you might have some additional bits. What I would do is, if I've got like bits that are decorative, I'll just make a little tab of them. Yeah, so you can still use as much of the paper that you've been painting on as possible. So I'm going to leave them to the side for the moment. And I've got the larger piece. I can use that as focus. Use that and add that to that, or I can use it in a different activity. So let's have a look at what we've got now. So as you can see, quite easily you can create your little word plates, we call it. Should come in and you can see them a bit better. Okay, so we've got this one, teach, and I've used the scissors to cut that out, and the rest I've just rounded the edges with my scissors. But I think I like them, and it meant that I could use up all my letters, because I'd used them in other projects and this was all that was left. So I just thought, let me just make up some words. You can use it in your art journal or on your art journal, and I think they look cute, and colour them any colour you want. Alright, so I hope that's been useful, and I will see you again soon.